JetSkibrothers, Jet John, or John Boat Build. Hey, it's Josh here, and I am starting on this project here, taking this old sailboat and putting a jet ski engine in it. Well, technically, I'm doing a Sea-Doo engine, but you know, everybody calls them a jet ski. So here's the deal. This old sailboat came with my house when I bought it, and the back end of it was all rotted out. So I decided to fiberglass in a piece of a Sea-Doo so that I could have a Sea-Doo engine in this thing. I'm not really sure if this is technically a John boat, because usually those are like the little aluminum fishing boats where people fiberglass the piece of a jet ski into it. But this is kind of the same type of deal. This is a super lightweight old fiberglass sailboat. So I guess it's not really a fishing boat, but it could have been used for fishing. And I am fiberglassing a piece of a Sea-Doo into it. So I'm going to call it a John boat for now. If you guys think that it's not a John boat, let me know. Or if it's called something else, definitely let me know. And we will change the name around a little bit for it. I'm really looking forward to this build here. It's just really something that I like doing. It's like taking something old and it's just like junk and turning it into something cool. And this boat here, it just came with my house when I bought the house. And you know, I didn't realize it at the time, but they were just kind of like dumping it on me because it was old and junk. The this rear part is completely rotted out. Like it's plywood here sandwiched between two pieces of fiberglass, so it's completely rotted out and it's just junk. So basically how I'm fixing that is the back end of this is going to be the new back end of the boat, and obviously we're getting that 155 horsepower engine in there, so it should be pretty fast and pretty cool. I got some pretty wild ideas for like the top and like just making it kind of a different, unique and cool build instead of just like, you know, a rowboat with a jet ski engine. It's going to be something a little bit unique. I've been really wanting to get started on this project, but I've had lots of other things I've had to do, like a lot of video editing so I can get the videos out so you guys can see them. But in the back of my mind, I've been like, oh, when will I get time to like cut this thing up? I've been dying to just cut it up and see how that's going to fit in here and just really get going on this thing. You can see how the back end is all rotted out and falling apart, and why I consider this boat to be junk in the first place. I'm gonna have to grab the Sawzall and go through that cut one more time. I'm pretty sure there's a piece of wood fiberglassed in there. You can see that it has come apart now. Trading that piece out for that piece. I think I'm gonna have to trim these off. I believe it's narrower between this point and that point than here and here, and I want to retain more of this than more of this, as this is you know, thicker, stronger, better fiberglass material.
realized I've been going about this the wrong way. That section there literally weighs more than this entire boat. So instead of trying to manhandle that into here, I'm just flipping everything over, bringing the boat over to it. Pretty much got it. Super easy. Just kidding around. What a pain. This kind of gives you an idea of how it's all going to fit together. I gotta trim the boat part to fit the Sea-Doo part in it a little bit better, but this just shows where we're going with this and what we're going to be looking like when it's all done, where the engine's going to be and whatnot. So the engine's going to be here, obviously, and the people will probably be in this area somewheres. And then I'm hoping to put the gas tank up in the front so that the weight is kind of balanced throughout the entire thing.
I've got the jet ski or Sea-Doo portion semi-fiberglassed in, and it's all sort of coming together. It's not really all that strong yet because I still need to do the underside, and I still need to do more on this side, but it's kind of a process because just kind of a tricky thing to do to get this weird square piece to fit into this ancient sailboat. I was able to get the boat flipped over and do a little bit of fiberglass on the underside, but now I kind of need to get it moved out of the garage so that I can get the mini aluminum jet boat in there so I can work on it a little bit. But I got to kind of wait for Jacob to come over so he can help me get this thing out of the garage. While I've been waiting for Jacob, this package has shown up, and we're gonna see what we got in the mail today. This part came, I shouldn't say this part, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but whatever it is, it came really, really fast. And they really packaged the heck out of it, which is great. There's that. Here's their card. So we know if those guys are good or bad, depending on what happens with this. They do not want anything happening to this thing, which is great. I like it when they do a good job packaging. You can see now kind of what we got here. Is a cylinder. You can see that now. And it is a power valve cylinder. You probably can see that, which means this is the cylinder for the 1200R. Nice, they packaged it up with some oil. Looks really good. Like, glad that they took the time to package it up nicely. There's a look at the piston. This is a used piston, and to see almost no wear on the skirt, obviously a great sign. And this is the cylinder that it goes with. I can still see the cross hatching on it, so it looks pretty darn good. See how well the power valve moves. Yeah, not too bad. All in all, actually I'm super pleased with this. This is better than I expected. So far, this guy, very impressed with how quick he got it to me and the kind of condition it was in. And he had a very fair price on this. So that is the cylinder and piston for the 1200R. It is hiding out under this, trying to keep it all wrapped up. But I haven't really said where the 1200R motor is going yet. It is obviously a potential candidate for going into the mini jet boat,
which obviously would be insane. So just gonna have to stay tuned and see what happens with it.
Hey, we are moving the boat.
Moving the boat, part 1, take 1, seeing if it breaks in half for YouTube's viewing pleasure. All right, now there. Oh, we don't want this on here. There is a jack in the middle, so it's probably gonna rack you in the nuts while you're walking forward.
I love getting racked in the nuts.
Oh! This is a little heavier than I expected.
I'm trying to spot the jack that's gonna rack me in the nuts.
Oh, there it is. Ah! Alright, right here's fine. Oh! Actually held up better than I expected.
That's a strong boat. That's a strong boat.
But that section of Sea-Doo is very heavy.
Yeah, well,
That piece of boat with no Sea-Doo on it, I can move it by myself, no problem.
well, they're built to last, you know.
That section of Sea-Doo.
Built to last. That's
Well,
great.
This way I'll be able to wheel my project in here, and I'll be thanking my lucky stars about that. Here's where I am at with this particular project. You can see that I am fiberglassing the jet ski portion into the other boat. And, you know, it's very time consuming to do this. And it takes a lot of sanding and fiberglassing. But, you know, this is how it's coming along so far. Basically, I've got these two sort of bonded together. Then I'll be able to flip it over, really fill in all of the other areas on the other side of the hull, so it gets a nice, good, solid bond. And then come back to the bottom, get the exact shape I want, and go over it with a few more layers of fiberglass. At least that's my plan. I want it to be strong because it's hopefully going to be quite fast. All right, you might be thinking to yourself, what an unusual shape right in this area. And if you haven't learned this about us yet, we like to try different things. So I just kind of want to see how this performs in the water. If this acts like a super tall strike, gives us some better grip in the corners, you know what I mean? And if I don't like it, then we'll just come back, fill it in, just like you see with many of the other John boat builds out there. I got the boat put back into the garage. I just kind of want to show you where I'm at with the build right now. This whole fiberglassing process is taking way longer than I expected or wanted. There's so much just like grinding, sanding, and fiberglassing involved. Just a way bigger process than I had originally envisioned. And it's not like a problem, like I'm not like upset about it. It's just like, you know, in my mind, I had kind of expected the fiberglass process to be a little bit quicker on this. But it really is a very large job to fiberglass this in. Like the whole surface area that needs to be fiberglassed is quite a bit of area. And I believe I'm going to reinforce the bottom of this boat a little bit as well, since we are going to be running the 155 horsepower Sea-Doo engine that came out of this Sea-Doo in the first place. I don't know if you guys remember that video, one where I destroyed the Sea-Doo GTX, ripped it apart. That's why it got destroyed, so that we could build this John boat, if you will. Or that's just what I'm calling it for now, unless it's called something different when you do it with a fiberglass boat. So, just here's where we are at. I've still got some of this weird like sailboat crap I gotta take off. And there's just like some kind of strange riggings, like these pulleys and stuff like that. But it's coming along okay. I got the seat taken off. I do need to cut that section out. I do want to have like some supports for this, but this old section here, where the center rudder thing used to go, it's got some plywood inside of it that's all rotted out, so I just need to get that cut out of there and get that tossed. And the funny thing is, this rowboat is, or I'm gonna call it, it's a rowboat, it's a sailboat. This thing is super friggin' light. But the Sea-Doo section
is very, very heavy. Just that chunk of a Sea-Doo right there. Whew, crazy, crazy heavy, that thing. But I just thought that was kind of weird and comical how the Sea-Doo, that like Sea-Doo section weighs probably like twice as much as the rest of this boat. But I mean, the boat is really thin fiberglass. Like, we're talking like Wave Raider purple hull thickness of fiberglass. So I do kind of want to maybe reinforce the very bottom, just in case we like hit anything or whatever. And it'll be really easy for me to do when there's no engine in it, and I can flip it over and flip it back really easy and stuff like that. So when this build is like sort of all the way done, like I've said before, it's going to be a little bit unique and interesting. But kind of the goal and the plan at this point is to make sure get, you know, all my fiberglass done so it floats fine, you know, and then get the engine in, and then just kind of get a temporary seat set up in there and take it out and test it, make sure that it rides okay, because like I don't want to dump a ton of like time into this if it turns out like it can only go like 0 miles per hour, you know what I mean? Like, because this is a really, really weird hull design for like a, I don't know, like a powered thing. This is a like I've said, it's a sailboat, so it's got a really odd hull design to it. So I do want to kind of test it out before I dump a bunch of time into like really making it super freaking cool. But I feel like I'm getting close to that point, you know. I mean, this section is like in there sturdy now, but I still have quite a bit more fiberglass to do. These corners have been a real pain to do, and I honestly wish I would have done something a little bit different in the corners there. All of like my gaps, I wish that I had taken a piece of this old Sea-Doo hull, because I got like, it's still sitting around. I could have just cut the shape that I needed and like, you know, glued it in like with 5200 or something, glued it into the holes and then fiberglassed over. Because fiberglassing a huge open hole like that really sucks. So if I could go back in time, I definitely would have done that. Would have saved me a whole lot of hassle. And I've had so much trouble down here that, you know, I finally clicked in my mind. That's what I'm going to do down there. I'm going to cut out some pieces of the old Sea-Doo hull to fit these. Just like put them in there with 5200 or like an epoxy or, you know, something. And then I'll fiberglass over it, because fiberglassing that big old open hole there is extremely stupid difficult. But and I had debated about taking these out. They're basically like the bench seats that would have been on the side of the sailboat, and there's no way that I would use them as bench seating anymore. I'm not planning on taking a whole ton of people out here on this boat, and so I've thought about cutting them out, but it's not like they're really adding any weight, and they're probably adding some structural rigidity to these like side portions. So I think I'm gonna just leave those in there for now. Unless they really get in my way, I'm just gonna probably leave them there. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think about those. So the funny thing is, this boat is really not that big of a boat, but the mini aluminum jet boat is way smaller. Like, I know that's kind of off topic, but I think people don't realize how small, how dang small that mini aluminum jet boat is. Like, we should almost call it a micro aluminum jet boat. You know what I mean? But this is going to be way friggin' bigger than that mini aluminum jet boat. Garage is all a mess. I'm just working on all kinds of stuff right now. Got engines I'm working on, e-boxes, the whole deal. And I got this thing that I'm working on, obviously. So you're going to want to stay locked in here to JetSkibrothers, because you do not want to miss what is going to happen next.